are about 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes away. And we have Katie and Becky from Live Laugh Lorcana who are going to be joining me. And we're going to bring the Twitch stream up from Disney Lorcana so that we can all watch together and react. And we are hoping for some exciting news. So Katie is here. I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. Here's Katie.
Hey.
Hello. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, you too. Very happy. I'm ready for some news.
I'm so ready for news. What are some of your predictions?
Ooh, I think it's about time for set 4 details.
Yes. Yeah, set 4. I'm hoping that we get the name and then maybe even a couple card reveals.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So that, and then fan events is the other thing that I'm really hoping for.
Me too.
Didn't they say March, that we would hear in March?
Yeah, there was some sort of announcement, an OP announcement, maybe fan events. Yeah. I already told my husband, like, we are planning trips right after this call, maybe. So be ready.
Just be ready. Get ready to book flights and hotels for all the fun stuff coming up. So, I mean, they did say in that big press release that came out earlier in the year that Worlds would be taking place in the first quarter of 2025. So we know that there's got to be some regional and national stuff on the competitive side of things leading up to that. So hopefully we'll get all of that soon. Okay, so I think we're about 5 minutes away or so. So I'm just going to put on the Twitch stream. And so it's here and we can watch the countdown together. Hopefully everybody can see that. They've got can you hear the music all right, Katie?
I actually can't.
Oh.
Can I?
I can turn it up.
Yeah. Oh,
Can you?
It's just really faint, yeah.
It's really faint, yeah.
No, it's good now. It's good now.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So it starts in about less than 5 minher
I have my popcorn ready. I'm ready for a show.
That's amazing. I saw that. I saw your popcorn. I was like, it's too early for popcorn here. It's not even, it's 10 o'clock. I don't know. So I just have my tea.
It's never too early for popcorn.
Never too early for popcorn. Here's Becky. Okay, ready, set, go. There she is. Hey, Becky. Welcome to Instagram Live.
Hey.
Say hello to everyone.
Snacks. I got family size.
Oh, amazing.
There's colors.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. All right, what are your predictions, Becky?
I have no idea whatsoever. I think we're going to hear about, obviously, Chapter 4 coming out, but other than that, I have no idea.
It's a mystery, which, is exciting in and of itself. Sometimes it's like Christmas, It's fun to not know everything.
That's true. We love a surprise.
We love a surprise. And, Disney Lorcana has been full of surprises. The one thing that I hope we don't hear today is another announcement of an announcement.
Yeah.
Oh boy. We see. Yeah. We got some people here on Instagram watching. I can see some viewers. Feel free to say hi in the comments so we know who's here. And we are super stoked to watch this stream. Right. Can you hear everything okay, Becky?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah, so Lorcana has some banger music going on.
It is. It's a bop, man.
It's very epic. Also, I don't know, we need to talk about this art that we're seeing. This is something different. I just realized that. It looks like we're in, can you guys see it? It's like the Illuminary, maybe. There's like bookshelves or something down there.
Yeah, it does. You're right. Ooh, what is this view?
Yeah, where are we looking? I wonder if that's the the like in the Great Illuminary when Shanze and Venturo and Martin were bringing the characters to life, and that light would come down. Like maybe this is like a top-down view of like that light beam coming down. The story stars, right? Yeah. Isn't that what that is? But yeah, that's new art. Okay. We've got 90 seconds. Yay! Okay. And I did check. Oh, there's also a hidden Mickey in the art too. Did you see? Do you notice that?
Yeah, there he is.
All right. I am going to, when the stream starts, maybe I can mute us. I just want to make sure that everyone can hear the Twitch stream all right for the beginning. If anyone needs the volume louder on that, let me know and I can turn it up. Less than in a minute.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
I know. And for those watching on Instagram, I think there is just like a 10-second delay or so. But anyway, it's all good. Okay, here we go. Love the ad. Oh, yeah, that's fun. Thanks, Twitch. Ooh, music change.
Oh.
Ooh. Who is that?
Oh, Bruno.
The Illuminaries are back. She's flying. Oh, whoa.
So good. So good.
Ursula's return! Oh my god.
I'm Ryan Miller, co-designer and brand manager of Disney Lorcana, and I'm here to welcome you to the first ever Disney Lorcana Lorecast. We'll be using Lorecast to give you the first look at all things Disney Lorcana, and today we're kicking off in a big way by announcing Set 4, Ursula's Return. A storm has been building in the magical realm of Lorcana. A powerful Ursula glimmer is entangling other glimmers, bending them to her will, while many more have gone missing. How far will the Sea Witch go to gain power over all Lorcana? Ursula's Return will be available at hobby stores and Disney parks on May 17th, 2024, and at mass retailers and DisneyStore.com on May 31st, 2024. One of the things I'm really excited about for Ursula's Return is the inclusion of Encanto. It's one of my favorite movies.
So excited!
So many of you over the past year or so have asked me, when is Encanto coming into the game? And I've known all along, but I couldn't say anything. Well, now I can. They're finally in, and it's super exciting.
Hey, Lorcana Girl!
I'm so excited right now.
I've not been able to talk about for so long, but really wanted to, is Illumineer's Quest.
Yeah.
It's a whole new way to play Disney Lorcana. Instead of playing against your friends and family, you are now playing with them. It's a cooperative experience.
Oh.
Team together to defeat the Ursula and save Lorcana itself. It's awesome, it's amazing, and I can't wait for you to try it.
That is so cool!
I love it.
I love co-op games.
Yeah.
One of the more subtle changes we're making with set 4 has to do with the accessories. Now, in the past, the accessories always pulled art from the set that they came out with. But
I love those Snow White sleeves.
Opportunity to pull art from any of the sets so that we could really highlight those fan favorites, such as Tinkerbell,
a Tinkermat,
and of course, I've used some of my power to make sure she got. That's neither here nor there. We're going to see
Rapunzel!
playmasts going forward that pull from all the art of Lorcana.
Love that they expanded the art too on the sides.
This is our series of competitive events that allow you to show off your skills at deck building and playing, but I know what you all really care about are the prizes, and we are giving away some amazing prizes, and I'm here to show you what they are. First off is our participation prize. This means everyone that comes to the event gets one of these. This gorgeous
That's
you can see
amazing.
all the way to the edge of the card, based on the original art of the card. Let It Go is the day one performance prize card. It's really cool. What does that mean? Well, the top 64 are going to get one of these. There's also other ways you can get one of these.
Oh, wow.
This beautiful Cinderella card is going to go to the top 32 players, while Rapunzel is only for the top 16.
Oh, my God.
For the top 4, we are doing a serialized gold promo of Mickey Mouse Brave Little Town.
Okay.
We'll get some more details about
Fancy.
Disney Lorcana challenge later on in the Lorecast. But I'm super excited. I hope you are too. I'm going to be at a few of the events, so if you see me, hey, stop by. Let's talk Lorcana. Let's play a few games. I really can't wait. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of the Lorcana.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Hello, Illumineers, and welcome to the first Disney Lorcana Lorecast.
Wait a minute.
Like I mentioned at the start, we're here to talk to you about everything that's coming to Disney Lorcana, and Ursula's return. Obviously, everyone I know is super hyped about it. We have the chat that we can see. All of you got so hyped about Bruno and Encanto and all of that. But I have some guests with me. You may have seen them actually when we came in here. So first, I want to introduce Erin from the Illumineers.
Hey everybody, I am pinching myself still that we're actually sitting here for the first Lorcana cast. Thank you so much for the invitation today. We're
Thank
really
you for
honored.
being here.
We know them.
I tell you what, same. Thank you all for inviting us. It's such a treat. We just saw so much. I can't wait to talk about it. My mind is blown a little bit. Otherwise, I'd have something more eloquent to say.
And your name is?
Oh, my name's Liam.
And then also from Team Lorcana, Matt Ang, lead art director. Didn't mean to take that away from anyone.
It's okay. Hi everybody. I'm so excited to be here and be part of this first inaugural Lorecast. This is really exciting to be here.
Yeah, so I think we kind of want to kick things off with being that we have you guys here.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to seeing set 4, Ursula's Return?
I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose a little bit right now. We just saw so many incredible announcements, and I'm really excited to talk about all of them. That trailer for set 4 is
That was a great trailer.
incredible. Yeah, I love that the narrative of Lorcana is continuing. It seems like with every set, we're kind of diving deeper and deeper into the story that you've all been working so hard to roll out. And I think us as a community has been trying so hard to figure out.
Yeah.
And so things are like kind of starting to make sense a little bit. Some things we've seen in cards from the first 3 sets, it's like, oh, maybe that's where it was going. So I'm really excited to see more about set 4.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the narrative is such a special part of this game, and to this point, we've just seen breadcrumbs, I think. By the way, if dive deeper was Ursula, I fully approve.
I noticed that.
Well done there. But we really have, like, those of us who've been around for a while have seen these little tidbits throughout, and we've kind of tried to piece together what's going on. And even right away in the trailer, seeing that purple seaweed that we saw in set 1 on like Mickey Mouse Detective and Duke Weaselton. And so what I'm really excited about is now that we've seen kind of the way things are going and this amazing villain appear, and so a ton of other characters I can't wait to talk about, going back and looking and figuring out that the story was there all along. We just weren't seeing it. But now I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about first, before we get deeper into more of that set 4, is the accessories, the playmats, and the card sleeves, the deck box. Ryan had mentioned that those aren't tied to the set anymore, so they'll still be releasing, at least for now.
Very cool.
They'll still be releasing tied to a set. But Giant Tank as the biggest one, not intended to say it that way, but being the biggest one that fans have just been so excited about. That art ever since it was revealed.
Because it's so good.
We're hoping people are going to be really excited about that.
Great card.
Oh, they will be. I mean, give the players what they want, right? Like, Big Tink, we do a lot of art analysis and interviews, and we talk to the community, and I can't tell you the number of people who said that Big Tinkerbell was the card that got them into Lorcana. Like, they saw that art and were like, I need to figure out what this is about, and they came in the game. And, in a poll we did, 50% of fans ranked Big Tinkerbell in the top 10 cards of theirs in the first set. So this card is wildly popular, and I'm so excited that you all are kind of listening to the pulse of the community and pulling that into the accessory line. It's amazing.
It continues to be that way. Like, we've had 2 other sets since we saw Big Tink in the first chapter, and Big Tink still in conversations consistently is one of people's like favorite pieces of art, and so to be able to see that in playmat form, I'm so excited to go to our LGS and like somebody roll out a Big Tink playmat. It's gonna be really fun.
The thing for us is that when we think about these accessories, when people make their deck, like player expression, self-expression is important for both like TCG fans and Disney fans. And so being able to make sure that we're getting those fan favorite characters in so that players can express themselves through more than just their deck, that's what we're hoping to hit with those. But yeah, I think we have some of the cards that were in there for card review.
I was trying to swing, so.
If we can switch to show card reveals.
Yeah. Yes, please.
I have to tell you, Rochelle, like, there's so many characters. I know people are going to be pouring over this.
I'm so excited about Encanto.
Me too.
Give us an Encanto card.
So hopefully card reveals should appear over here.
Yep.
If we can get the first card pulled up.
Oh.
Okay, the first card pulled up, please. Okay. Do we have the first card, I'm sorry, from Ursula's Return.
Love the bit. Love the bit.
I think we're out of Dalmatian puppies, so the first card from Ursula's Return.
Huh?
Come on.
Oh, an Ariel! A Bloodborne Ariel! Oh my god.
Oh, direct damage. Of course she does.
For Ariel as a Floodborn, Ariel in set 1 has been, or for the first chapter, has been one of the most popular cards out of Amber.
I love her. I love her outfit.
That is steel, which we're seeing a lot of that Ariel being played in Amber steel decks.
Yeah.
This Ariel is a 6-cost inkable Floodborn, 3 strength, 8 willpower, shift 4, with an ability Amplified Voice. Whenever you play a song,
really
you
good.
2 ink to deal 3 damage to chosen character.
Amazing.
And I didn't mention this, she has 2 lore, I know we can all see that, but essentially those Amber Steel or Steel Song, like everyone keeps referring to them, those Steel Song decks
out of her mouth, like
got a
Sonic
huge
Warriors.
Tool where now that Ariel that they were already playing You know, she's already doing what she was doing before, but now if you have that Ariel sitting out on the board, you can shift her into Sonic Warrior and start using those songs
Sonic
that she
Warrior.
found
Love that name.
to deal additional damage. So, I mean, what do you guys think?
Right.
Oh, yes.
It's so good on so many levels. I mean, that's a great point. And then in the end game, now she has 2 lore, so you can start, moving towards your win condition. I love this card for so many reasons. I do want to talk about Ariel, though. Like, in talking to fans and in talking to artists, it is amazing for how many people The Little Mermaid was such a formative Disney film for them.
100%.
I underestimated, personally, how much this film meant to people and how many artists got their start tracing Ariel on VHS covers. I who told us that. So
that's
the
cool.
more Ariels, the better. And seeing Ariel,
the more Ariels, the better.
And I think players are going to absolutely love it.
And I have to, like, that 8 willpower stat line is,
yeah, that 8 willpower.
We're starting to see that, especially with the lands that rolled out and into the Inklands. Like, really, when you have that over, like, 5 willpower stat line, it becomes a little bit of a barrier to get those off the board. And so I think because of that, that just, as you said, the Steel Song decks just got a huge win today. So those of you who play Steel Songs.
That's me.
Yes.
Are
you? Do you play Steel Song? Awesome.
Congrats.
Congrats.
So let's take a look at the next card that we have.
Another card. Maybe. There we go. Yes!
Mirabelle!
They have their own type.
Ryan talked about, and you actually we saw
the madrigal.
A madrigal classification.
Yeah.
Mirabelle is one of the characters in that Encanto themed.
Your other magical characters get.
Mirabelle Madrigal, Gift of the
Plus
Family.
1 lore.
5 cost character, 3 strength, 5 willpower.
An Encanto deck.
And an ability.
The family magical deck. I love it.
Yes.
And an ability saving the miracle. When this character quests, your other Madrigal characters get +1 lore this turn.
Beautiful.
That's so cool.
I just
the starter deck.
On top of,
sorry.
we're getting cards
No,
right
I
now.
was gonna say, I love these theme starters.
I'm so excited.
Y'all are
The
really
butterflies in the
I
art.
think especially for new players, for casual players, it is just that like extra piece to kind of get them bought in to Lorcana when they get to play out a little bit more of a story when they're experiencing the game for the first time. And so I love that we're seeing kind of an Encanto starter deck come together for this set. I love that from a flavor perspective, which y'all always just nail the flavor, I feel like so much on these cards, but the fact that Mirabelle has support, like her role in the film, and the fact that she gives kind of more strength in some ways, and when I use strength right now, I'm talking lore, to the other members of the Madrigal family. I think that just plays so beautifully into who she is as a character. And I love the butterflies around her too.
The art's incredible.
So good.
I love Encanto in the game.
I'm so glad we got Encanto.
We talked to a lot of people. We talked to a lot of people. We were talking about a Lorcana artist who's from Colombia about Encanto, and we asked specifically, what was it like for you when you saw this film come out and representing your culture? And they said it was life-changing in some ways. They got to sit down and share their culture with people around them who aren't familiar with Colombia. And so for films like this, they really have a special place in some people's hearts. So to see this card, to see this franchise in the game is just so exciting, and I think it's going to mean a lot to a lot of people.
So the next, we actually, there were a bunch of cards there revealed from Encanto that are all in that starter deck. So we can go through each of them.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go through all of them.
I'm so ready.
I don't know.
We might just have to move on.
Ooh, there's a broom.
Madrigal out of the shadows. So he has a 5-cost uninkable amethyst storyborn character, 4 strength, 5 willpower. 1 lore, I remembered this time, with an ability, it was your vision. When you play this character, chosen character gains, when this character is banished in a challenge, you may return this card to your hand.
Amethyst. Be an amethyst.
Yep.
When you play Bruno, you choose a character, and if that character is banished in a challenge, it goes back to your hand. We've had some characters that have that effect in previous sets, but this is really like an on turn. I know that I'm going to challenge this turn. I'm playing Bruno to get like pretty strong stats out, and just get that effect for the turn.
I mean, it's another bounce effect for Amethyst. It does allow you to challenge into something, possibly remove it, get the card back in your hand, but then you also get that enter play effect again with that character if you need to. Pretty fun card. I do have to say, Aubrey Archer is incredible. All her cards are amazing. Just really nailed the character in this piece. Love it so much.
Just the art is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it being uninkable is a little tough. I'm interested to see how it does play out. I do have to say, though, because I realized I said it while the trailer was playing, but I'm so excited for another Amber Amethyst starter deck. I love those two colors together. I really loved the first chapter Amber Amethyst deck. And so I'm really excited to play this one. And now that we have like this flavor kind of overlaying
it's very
it.
Cool.
But this is really interesting. I'm kind of, I'm excited to see how this card pairs with cards that kind of have challenger and that sort of thing, and how that'll play out in a game. So yeah.
So Mirabelle and Bruno are kind of the highlights of that Encanto deck. Packaging, and they're probably the rarest cards in that deck. But we do have some of the other ones that were shown in the video that we can go through pretty quickly.
Can I ask? So those Mirabelle and Bruno, those are going to be the cards in foil probably in that deck, because it's normally
nice.
On the front of
Dolores!
Dolores Madrigal, easy listener. She is a 4-cost inkable Amethyst Storyborn character, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore, with an ability Magical Informant. When you play this character, if an opponent has an exerted character in play, you may draw a card.
Wow.
This is great.
Amethyst definitely needs more of that.
Abilities, immediately, as a casual player, immediately I start going, how am I tying this to flavor? Like, how does her card draw relate to her hearing things? I'm going to still need to mull that over. But I feel like it's kind of weaving and getting there. But for those of you who might not have seen some of Liam in my videos before, you're going to hear us say this a lot today, which is, I love this art. The art team at Ravensburg does such an incredible job.
Thank you.
Artists they bring on board are just amazing. And again, this is wonderful. I feel like this art is a little bit more stylized than kind of your modern storybook feel a little bit. I feel like I see kind of some more sketch lines in the character, which I love when we see things that are a tiny bit more stylized. And so I really appreciate that in this piece.
I love cards that make your opponent think. And in this, with this card, especially when you're playing starter deck on starter deck, your opponent now has to kind of think twice about whether they want to, do I want this one lore this turn, or on turn 4 is my opponent going to get a free card off of this? So it's kind of fun. I like it.
And then we can look at the next one.
Man, she looks great.
Yes. And draw power, always good.
My favorite.
Yes, my girl.
The magically strong one. She is a 4-cost uninkable Storyborn character. 4 strength, 3 willpower,
Rush.
1 lore with rush.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
Rush, uninkable.
She is the strong one.
Flavor text.
But yeah, I think, great character.
This
Love
rock,
Lisa.
no problems.
But I think people can figure this one out. I'm sure that there's Lisa fans.
Yep.
I think we can go to the next one.
Go get that prophecy.
Getting a
Go get that prophecy? Something about go get that prophecy.
Yeah, go get that prophecy, Armana.
Felix Madrigal. He's a
So
the umbrella.
Amber character. 2 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore. No abilities, but he is another Madrigal. If you're playing that Mirabelle themed deck, you really want to have as many of the Madrigals in your deck as you can. This is really just supporting that.
And he's inkable,
Yeah, we need somebody in the chat said we need a casita, a magic casita.
We do.
Yeah, the Girl family, so it's great that we're seeing a few more inkable options here.
I love Encanto.
Always love
he was really well with Mirabelle.
Oh yeah, that's good.
A lot of the amethyst cards are inkable though, so it would be nice if they got some uninkable cards because I feel like
that's true. That's true.
Good inkables. I was like, come on.
I think it's Julieta.
Julieta
Madrigal. Apologies if I mispronounced it. But 3-cost inkable, 1 strength, 4 willpower,
Perfect ability.
1 lore, and an ability signature recipe. When you play this character, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. If you removed damage this way, you may draw a card. So she's kind of like a mini Rapunzel.
Doesn't draw.
Rapunzel gifted with healing. She draws cards for every damage that you remove. But this kind of like plays into that theme, especially people that love healing up their characters. Could really play that one and Rapunzel in a deck.
And this is budget Rapunzel,
we are
so
seeing more cards.
Budget Rapunzel,
recently that give you some benefit if you have damaged characters or damage themselves, or so that they come into play damaged. And so I can see kind of a theme, a deck being built around this. Damaging your characters, then removing the damage for some benefit. I like it a lot, and on flavor.
And you're seeing the opportunity to play her outside of this Madrigal package as well. Like she has some versatility here, which is really great. I have to say, I can't believe
we all have to go watch Encanto again.
Like I love, and it makes sense that Madrigal is kind of a subtype. Almost. So
because Mirabelle was looking for other Madrigal cards.
Yeah, and that makes
classification.
Sense. It totally makes sense that we're not just looking for the Madrigal last name, but we're actually looking for that specific subtype. So
have we seen Mentor
to see how that may be.
Yeah.
Nothing ever has like benefited that yet. Like there's not dynamic, but they're there.
They're there. They don't do anything.
So we can move on.
Yet.
Next, we have a few more card reveals before we get into talking a little bit more.
And so excited.
Keep bringing the card reveals. We're figuring out that.
Yes, please.
I know, we're all like, yes.
And
Casita?
We're going to just slowly go through all 200 cards in set 4 during the stream.
You're okay with that.
There are a lot of cards, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't tell. I mean,
what's next?
There
it is.
Oh my gosh.
Elite Archer. 6-cost inkable Ruby, Floodborn Mulan. 2 strength, 6 willpower. This is our first legendary reveal of the set. So she has Shift 5. I skipped the lore again. 2 lore. 2 abilities. The first one, Straight Shooter. When you play this character, if you use Shift to play her, she gets +3 strength, this turn. And then the second ability, Triple Shot. During your turn, whenever this character deals damage to another character in a challenge, deal the same amount of damage to up to 2 other chosen characters.
That's pretty
spicy.
That is
this is removal potentially for 3 of their characters.
This is a scary card for sure.
I mean, legendary.
So
right?
This Ruby.
And you has some frame break. Also, we got some
Ruby Amethyst players right now are
on it.
excited.
Yeah. Even like down at the bottom in the flavor text box that
I love
think of shift targets for her.
The frame breaks are so cool.
There's a few.
There are a few,
There might be some more in the set.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
that's why I was like,
I mean,
have a Mulan Floodborn.
One of the really fun things with this, like we saw in the trailer, is Mulan is one of the characters kind of taking on the fight against Ursula. So, this pretty much sums up what was happening there. They were surrounded, and she's throwing out triple shots to try and take out some of the glimmers to protect the Illumineers.
Wow.
So, I think this is really strong for Ruby. Ruby loves removing, banishing characters using removal. So this plays right into it. And the fact that, there are cards in Ruby where you're just banishing a character, but this actually, because she's challenging, it sort of plays into if you're going around those themes of challenging a character to do an effect.
Challenge matters.
You could fit Mulan into a deck archetype like that.
Shere Khan making a comeback.
Really swings four states. It's great. It's inkable. I also the flavor, for the movie,
I like it too.
I love it.
3 arrows
and the queen parts,
and shoots 3 targets. So that's great. So it also is calling back to the story. And the creative team and the art team are also doing fun stuff with the text box here with new I don't know.
We have a frame break. We kind of have like a little thing up in the top right where the frame even is creeping into the piece.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you'll notice some new frame elements on this card in particular. But
Matt, can I ask, are you trying to communicate something in terms of the story or anything with the black lines coming in? Are we going to see other cards with that? Or
absolutely. So, like Rochelle said, Mulan is battling Ursula. So we actually have a little bit of the visual motif of Ursula's kind of environment around the border of the card as well. So you see things that remind you of being underwater or kind of like tentacles, but not exactly Ursula's tentacles in those shapes.
Love that so much.
And then I believe we have 2 more cards to show for now.
Wait, John said that's card 224. The card number on it?
Oh, wow.
Mickey Mouse, Playful Sorcerer.
I knew we'd get a sorcerer, Mickey. I knew we would see this card. Okay.
Has kind of been hinted at. People have been, wanting more of Sorcerer's Apprentice. Now we have here Mickey Mouse, Playful Sorcerer, the Sorcerer's Apprentice for the first time. 5-cost inkable, steel, Floodborn, 3 strength, 4 willpower, shift 3. I skipped the lore again, and resist 1 with an ability, sweep away. When you play this character, deal damage to chosen character equal to the number of broom characters you have in play. So,
broom synergy?
Broom!
In that broom deck,
broom.
pretty solidly now.
This one also has like the little tendrils.
You're playing Amethyst Steel.
Really?
There was a lot of speculation
Or is this
on
just
where
the
do
ones
they go
that are
brooms?
fighting
Is there gonna be a
Ursula?
broom in every color, but it lives pretty comfortably in Amethyst.
Maybe all the Floodborn?
Where,
Yeah.
You're using, there's already the one Mickey Mouse that plays with brooms, and now great shift target, and now a great shift to use with it.
I mean, we've all been waiting for the broom meta to be a thing for a while now. So this is super
Facts.
Again, Matthew, that element, the black lines coming in, those tentacles, not tentacles, so that kind of indicates where we are in this story. And I love it. So to highlight the creative team again, like this is not an enchanted card which we're used to seeing like full art on, but what you've done with the text box here, it kind of feels that way. It almost feels like a full art bleed throughout the whole thing, and I really, really love that as a complete piece. This card, aesthetically is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Additionally, I love, it's a Floodborn, but he's in a fairly traditional Mickey costume, which I think is interesting for a Floodborn. We know Floodborns came from the Ink Flood that we saw in set 2. But normally when we see a Floodborn character, they are, fairly different from their traditional character that we see in a Disney film. They're in a different costume, but this character is in that Sorcerer's Apprentice costume. And so I'm interested to see kind of like where we go with that and expanding our understanding of like what these Floodborns are and how they interact in the world.
It might be more like a person.
The interesting thing about
Personality,
Floodborn, from a story standpoint, but I had been trying to bring up with people in the community a lot, is that there was this understanding that people had that Floodborn meant specifically non-canonical, and a lot of times it does. But this being Mickey Mouse, he's slightly different from the normal Mickey Mouse, the canon typical version of Mickey Mouse. So a Floodborn does bring out something that's there in the character all along.
Yeah, you'll actually see us explore a little bit more of what you were just talking about, what it means to be a Floodborn Glimmer, what's different about them, or what that means from set to set as well. You'll see us explore that a little bit more. probably the first opportunity where you're starting to see some of those differences.
Oh.
And shout out to Alice Pizzoni again. I mean, just
she has some great art.
An incredible artist.
Yeah,
an incredible artist.
And for the last of these card reveals in this section, one more from Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yensid! Here it is.
Here she is.
Yes!
Yensid. Yensid, powerful sorcerer. He is a
legendary,
inkable amethyst storyborn character. 1 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore. Got
it. Nailed it.
Good job.
Go show.
The first one, timely intervention. When you play this character, if you have a character named Magic Broom in play, you may draw a card. Second ability, arcane study. While you have 2 or more broom characters in play, this character gets +2 lore.
Take it. I'll take that.
So, again, solidly, Amethyst Steel, this card being legendary. So, our second legendary reveal.
You guys, people who have been calling for the broom meta,
it's here.
It has arrived, and it's so exciting.
The broom meta is real.
The broom meta is real.
Yes, it's time.
Okay, people in the chat are just like, brooms, brooms.
Play, knowing that this is a 2-cost character, but looking at trying to get 2 brooms in play, and then
so pumped, yeah.
Instead, to then quest and as a casual player, that's not, my brain does not compute that fast enough, but I think it's really good.
No, he can serve as a closer, right? Like he's a 3 lore character in this deck when you set the conditions. So he's good anytime in the game if he draws you a card and replaces himself, but then you're building up towards him getting 3 lore, and then he can kind of close out the game. Love it.
So good.
There were people when we announced the Lorecast that were guessing on things like, what are they going to announce, what are they going to reveal, and I saw one person that was like, I want Yensid more than anything. I was like, we are going to make that person in particular very happy today.
I hope you're watching that person.
The name is Ursula's Return, right, of the set? Yeah.
So now a bunch of people in the chat were asking what's up with the collector number. And the reason for that, if you caught it in the beginning, is that when you purchase Illumineer's Quest, you're actually getting Mulan in one deck. It comes with 2 player decks. One of the decks, you're actually getting that Mulan card. In the other deck, you're getting Sid and Mickey. So they come in the Illumineer's Quest.
Only?
In these player decks that are built.
Can you only get them in that?
I kind of want to take that to go over to talk more with you about Illumineer's Quest. The announcement that there is a co-op mode for Disney Lorcana that has been held back all this time, but the story has been leading to having this co-op mode. Play with your friends. Typically, TCGs are an experience where you're always playing against someone, but we saw this as an opportunity that for Disney Lorcana,
I love this so much.
Me too. One of the best things would be to find out ways that we can have people play together, but you're not necessarily just competing with each other. And at the same time, it's so tied into the story. This is the end of the story. This is the end of this Ursula story that has been kind of teased, and I hope.
Look at Rochelle's shirt.
Look at the first 3 sets.
So good.
And
Ursula.
See where there's been pieces and hints and all that. There's stories that are in there that people, at least I haven't seen people pick up and connect the dots yet. That are actually gonna play out
like different plot lines.
The conclusion of in this Illumineer's Quest.
Oh.
It's going to answer things for people that have been having questions about what happened in this story, what
That
happened
makes
in this
sense.
one. So
It does make sense.
Thoughts about that?
I mean,
yeah.
When we thought about, we were coming here and we were like, these are the things we expect. Of course, we thought, set 4 and a bunch of other stuff. And a co-op mode, a product like this, a game mode like this, didn't even occur to us.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, I was shocked and excited. For a lot of players, I think, confrontational play is fun, but I do think that people, especially families, friends, are looking for opportunities to play in a different way, to play cooperatively. And so the idea of you versus the board, you versus a character, you trying to achieve, some sort of end state with all of your friends, I think is so wonderful. And I also love it as an exclamation point to this story. This story to me, is one of the things that makes Lorcana so special. It's the narrative that works its way into the details of the card art, the details of the abilities, and that narrative supports a lot of the game. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited for the game mode, and I'm excited for the story.
I'm struggling here because I honestly feel like words cannot accurately describe how excited I am for this and how much this game mode means to me personally as a player. When Liam and I first met, and kind of at the beginning of our relationship and our marriage, I was not a board game player. I played Life with my family. I played Monopoly, your traditional.
Oh, there we go.
Board games.
Is that me?
I didn't grow up with that. I had siblings. My brothers, played American football and, all of these sorts of things. They were really competitive, and I was never really a competitive person. I did dance and art and that sort of thing. And so one of the biggest hurdles for me in board games is this competitive nature, because I'm just not naturally competitive. And in TCGs even, that is a hurdle.
This is really smart, actually, on the part of Lorcana team. It opens up a whole new
person, because I'm not
world.
Naturally competitive.
Yeah, a whole new world.
Which is why I really enjoy casual play. I love playing with my family and the like. So
really want to hear more.
I know, like, how does it work?
Like, what cards can you use? Only the ones
and cooperative games are what make me fall in love with gaming.
I hope they explain it a bit more.
We teach our friends and our family.
Well, that's why I like multiplayer, like playing with.
And we always, when we go to my family's house for Christmas or something like that, we're always known to bring a bag full of games, and 75% of them, 75% of them are cooperative games, because it's something that everybody can walk away from feeling good, because nobody's won, nobody's lost. We've all won together, or we lost together.
Exactly.
So having that element of Lorcana is such like a beautiful thing for me, and means so much to me as a player. So like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get emotional. Thank you guys so much for doing that. I think it's just gonna change.
It really is gonna make
people around the
a huge change.
That was well said from Aaron. I think a lot of people feel that way.
I think so too.
Everyone. There were things that you guys were like, oh, that's so cool, or oh my gosh, and reacting to. But when Ryan said our first cooperative game mode for Disney Lorcana, you shouted. You were so excited. Where you were I can't believe this is happening. I know you're tearing up right now.
Okay. That's okay. I'm not kidding, y'all. I am actually, there is a tear in my eye. It's so amazing. And I'm so grateful that y'all think about the community as a whole.
Yeah.
You have,
especially with kids,
competitive play. You have families, you have people like me who just, want to sit around a table like this and talk and have coffee and walk away feeling great. Have the feelings that Disney gives us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that this is going to be able to do that.
Yeah, Aaron.
No, I know you're great.
I can't say it any more beautifully than you do, but if you really, we're all here, everybody's watching, we're all here because we love games, and gaming has done something for us in our lives, whether it's, introduce us to new friends, give us something to do, made us feel good about ourselves. Gaming, if you believe that games matter and that they make the world a better place, and that the more people that play games or are introduced to this hobby is good, then the more ways that people have to play and experience games, it's just better.
Yeah.
And so the more avenues that we can give people into LGSs, into Lorcana, into TCGs, into board games, I just think it's better. So I'm excited.
Yeah, one of the things that happens with trading card games a lot of the time is that someone might say, oh, that looks really interesting to me, maybe I'll just collect it, but I'm not someone that likes playing games against other people. This gives a new avenue where you can jump into Disney Lorcana and play it, and you don't have to compete against anyone. You can work together. There are you can play solo also. So if you just want to play by
Oh,
yourself,
that's cool.
you can do
Oh,
that.
that's actually really neat.
It uses the same player decks of Disney Lorcana. You may need to like make a deck specifically for co-op because now you have to think about, you know, there are cards that were in previous sets that were very heavy support cards, and people are saying like, well, this doesn't seem playable and competitive, but there are cards that are designed with cooperative play in mind, and so now it like makes you go back and you're like, oh, that card that it gives so much support that I wouldn't have played against another player because they'll just remove it. Now it's like, oh, I can support my friend, and we can like
that's
get
cool.
through this together.
Big evil,
yeah,
you know.
Out of a box.
Take down Ursula.
Deep Trouble is the first scenario. So this is the end of that Ursula story. It comes with those two.
Oh, look how cool it is.
You can play by yourself. You can play with one friend. Out of the box, you don't need anything else. If you have additional Disney Lorcana player decks, you can play with up to 4 players.
Oh, cool.
So
Deep Trouble.
You already have your own decks. I mean, this is another reason to bring people in. There's 4 varying difficulty levels, so you can play on easy, or you can play on the hardest difficulty to give yourself a challenge. For those really like hardcore Disney Lorcana players,
it should really be less hard and super hard because the easy one is not that easy.
Easy is not easy.
Yeah.
I will just say get good. But anyway, one of the other things that was really cool, if you saw in there, there was this gold.
Yeah, the gold. But I saw that.
That has a message, a contract.
Oh, the contract.
You cannot open that until you have defeated Ursula. We won't tell you what's in that pack, but make sure if you're invested in the story.
What is it? Oh, come on. I did notice that gold pack, though, in the picture of the product.
Yeah. Oh, how fun.
There we go.
Make sure you do not open
it. Told the story of our life.
Nope.
Well, no, and you said a lot of things that really resonate. But one of our favorite ways to play is 2v2 because there are cards, you know, to your point, there's some amazing cards, you know, Coconut Basket, for example, heal any character. It's a great card in multiplayer when you have teammates to support, but it's a card.
I like that they're pitching their 2-headed dragon mode. I love that.
Doesn't see it in the bulk box, and then you dig in there and you find cards that you can build this really awesome deck for a specific game mode, and they become valuable in that game mode. So I love that. I love cooperative games again because it's a way to teach people how to play.
Yes.
Not only give them a way to play where you're not competitive, but where you can sit somebody down next to you.
Yeah.
You can look at their hand and you can kind of coach them through, you know, what you would do. That is. Because whenever you're teaching people to play, oftentimes there's a feel-bad moment where you're like, I know the right thing to do is to challenge and remove your character, but if I do that, it feels bad, but I want to show you the right thing to do. So, but anyway, I think it's great. I can't rave enough about the product. And the sealed envelope is a fantastic idea. You know, I really hope people, you know, keep that off the internet to let everybody experience that for themselves. Because what a fun moment to get to open that with a group and see what is in there.
I mean, one last thing about Illuminator's Quest before we move on. Do not spoil it for people. It is story. It is heavily story based.
No spoilers.
Do not spoil it for people. We actually, as a rule, making sure that we're not sharing everything that's in there, and we're especially not sharing what's in the contract card. But
that's so exciting.
We are not sharing what the story is ahead of time. We want people to experience it for the first time.
Yes.
I know spoilers are going to get out there, but
close your eyes.
But yeah, and then because spoilers are going to get out there. If you're someone that hates spoilers, protect yourself. mute Illuminator's Quest. Probably mute Lorcana. But yeah.
That's so cool.
I think we're gonna move on from Illuminator's Quest.
Wait, but they didn't say how do we play. We just have to wait.
Yeah. I will also say for everything that we're talking about here, there is going to be the product page. I don't know if it's already live on DisneyLorcana.com, but you can find all of that info on DisneyLorcana.com.
Let's see.
On our socials.
Let's see.
So yeah, I think what we want to we want to do is take a break from Ursula for
Oh,
a
it
bit.
is. It's up on the site, you guys.
It's been a lot.
What?
Oh, cool. A lot of Ursula
Yes.
so far, but we're going to talk about Disney Lorcana Challenge.
Okay.
So what did you think of the prize cards?
Oh, I mean, gosh, we can do a whole show on the prize cards.
Yeah, I mean,
and we probably will.
Let's pull up Dragonfire.
Oh, these cards this is so cool.
Dragonfire.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, that's so good.
So pretty.
So good.
Say,
the art,
pulling
yes.
up the other card. One of the things Liam and I always do when we see a new card is immediately look at who the artist is. It's like your eyes look at the art. I think for us, my eyes look at the art, my eyes look at the artist, and then I go, okay, and what can this card do? And especially with cards, we know their abilities, but I was just immediately looking at who did the art on that.
This is the participation one, right?
Yeah. No, Dragonfire. Dragonfire is the participation.
Everyone that goes to the Lorcana Challenge
so
plays
pretty.
I love that they are giving every single participant a card, and everybody who signs up to play walks away with something. It's amazing.
This was the first action card, I believe, that everyone had seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Y'all
we
did
thought
the
it was
puzzle piece to reveal it.
we thought that it would be fitting if the first action card that everyone saw was also the first card that people saw in this competitive play that's more action oriented. So yeah, it has extended artwork. It has this unique foil that's not used on cards in the booster packs. But we're getting to see more of Dragonfire now.
Yeah.
And even the the vines, the
the
on the bottom,
thorns.
Even breaking into the text box overlap with it.
Yeah, it's a different style even than enchanted cards, the way that you're breaking the text box and doing things. And I do love that you use Dragonfire, and I love that you use this piece, because for those who've actually looked at Dragonfire a little bit or played with it, we're seeing so much more of the piece here.
Yeah.
When you actually if you imagine the frame on the Dragonfire card, it's so such a small piece of that art that we're really seeing more of the story here. We're seeing the brambles. We see the shadow of Maleficent in the background. It really is brilliant.
Like the rest of her body.
It's like the rest of the dragon's body.
I love like how I don't know if that's going to be the foiling, but it almost looks like it's like pulsating a little bit, and it's like, get the kind of like the anger of the Dragonfire itself.
Can we ask about the foiling? Are you ready to? What is?
Can we ask you about foiling?
What about it?
What about it?
That's what it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It has like just the
Yeah, so that swirl pattern is the foiling.
Oh, okay.
And if you notice, you talked about the artist, right, Luis Huerta. We went back to the original artist because the original art was not full frame, right? So we had them fill in and continue the illustration on the parts that you're seeing here that you don't see in the regular card.
That's cool.
Really cool.
And then the next one is Let It Go. Ryan referred to this as the day one performance card.
Top 64, right?
So beautiful.
What that roughly means is top 64.
Yeah.
We'll get into a little bit more details on how there could be more than top 64 in an event that get this card in a little bit. But I do want to show all these cards and talk about them a little bit before we go a little bit more into that.
Nice tease.
Yeah. So we'll get to the competition.
Tuned.
Stay tuned for the competition.
Challenge,
Lorcana
challenge.
Everything that we said before applies to this one as well. I mean, it's just a brilliant. What I will say is, I really love the fact, the same way that with the playmats you're going back and doing beloved cards and bringing it forward and honoring it with accessories. Same here. I love that you all have gone back and found cards that players use, that they love, that mean something to the community, and you're doing something special with it. So it resonates with people in an emotional way.
I absolutely agree, and I think y'all are bringing a whole new level to rainbow foiling. The concept of it in these cards, the colors of the foiling is going to be unbelievable.
I'm trying to see. I can't tell what that icon is on it. It has like a different
and move it around.
Where like the rarity symbol goes.
Yeah, it's like a globe with like a lore symbol
in the middle.
Yeah.
All enchanted.
Or
his
like
entire deck is foil. He's a very, very good player.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or the
it's intimidating when he comes up to you and he throws down an enchanted on the table. You're like,
So
oh,
cool.
you're not messing around. Okay. And so I I'm imagining people actually playing with these cards.
Oh yeah.
And I think and having these cards in their deck and it being a little bit of a badge of honor, that you competed in this. And I'm really excited to actually go to locals and see people actually have these cards.
It's like stepping on a snowflake, and it's like there's even
yeah.
bigger snowflake that comes out of the small
32.
one. Art is just so cool.
This card
It's
and
beautiful.
the next one that we're going to talk about has come up a lot in
Ooh,
conversations.
so pretty.
People said,
Big
I
Sin.
really thought that Cinderella Stouthearted was going to be one of the enchanted cards. We were holding it back for this, so
Nice.
So yeah, this is a unique artwork in addition to being extended art for Cinderella Stouthearted. This is going to top 32, and that one is solidly top 32. Yeah, what do you guys think about the new artwork?
This is one of the most beautiful cards I've ever seen, and I can't say any more than
No
that.
notes.
No notes.
The homage to the original style of the character, the
Honestly,
pose,
it's
the color,
gorgeous.
the way the foil
It's so pretty.
I love Cinderella Stouthearted. This is just
it's a
stunning.
fantastic card, and I think people are going to be really excited to get a hold of this.
And I love that you guys, you had, you have Let It Go, you have Dragonfire, which are very much true to the original art, and kind of honoring the original art that we saw. And then, like when Ryan was doing these, when we saw this, I was like, oh, and they're doing new art too. And so I'm glad that y'all kind of did a mix of both, and we're having an opportunity to see her in a completely kind of new way than we saw her in the original piece. So.
Yeah, and let's see Rapunzel gifted with healing in a new way.
Yeah.
I mean, Rapunzel gifted with healing.
It's your favorite card.
It is my favorite card.
So pretty.
Love it.
So, Ryan mentioned during his segment about abusing his power for that Tinkerbell playmat. I kind of abused my power a little bit for this gifted with healing.
Worth.
Yes, thank you, Rochelle.
Rapunzel gifted with healing, one of the most popular cards in the first chapter, didn't get an enchanted card. But this is for top 16 of Disney Lorcana
Top
Challenge
16.
I have to win. How am I supposed to do this?
Gotta play the amethyst.
Yeah.
No notes. Again,
That's true.
These cards they're fantastic. I mean, we've said it already. The full art treatment, going back and honoring previous characters that people love, and the full art frame really allows the artist to play. We get to see Rapunzel in all her glory, in a very different pose than she is in the original card.
This is Grace's piece I see on the bottom too.
Yeah, Grace.
Oh, Grace, yeah.
I have no notes. Like these cards are going to be some of the most sought after in the game, not only because of their rarity,
they're
but how beautiful
gorgeous.
they are. So.
I really got to get good.
Get good.
Heather.
September 2022. Y'all at Robbinsburg, you just keep doing really cool and unique things with foiling. Things that I think we haven't really seen before, and so
I think a lot of that is Shane.
You're doing it again.
You're doing it again.
Again, I can't wait to actually hold these cards in my hand. I hope I have an opportunity to do that and actually experience foiling and what it's like.
We know a lot of really good players. We'll have to.
Yeah, we'll have to be.
And one thing to keep in mind on the rarity symbol, that is the symbol that's going forward will be used for organized play.
Oh.
So, we're seeing it here. These cards are only available through Disney Lorcana Challenge. This won't show up in a booster pack. It's specifically you need to go to the event to get one of these cards.
When and where are they, Rochelle?
Moving on to the top
I know.
We're using the same artwork of Rapunzel gifted with healing for a top 8 playmat.
Oh, nice.
Oh
God.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some foiling on the playmat.
It's so pretty.
When we talked about Badge of Honor, when you're playing a game, this is meant to be a badge of
Oh
honor.
my gosh.
If you get one of these, if someone puts this down at the table, you're going up against someone
who's really good.
Lorcana. So
that's
one of the biggest badges
gorgeous.
of honor that you could get.
Talk about me being intimidated when I go to our LGFs. If that playmat rolled out in front of me, like, okay, we're gonna have. But and intimidated, I think, is the wrong word, because it's an opportunity playing against a really great player, and something that is so wonderful in the Lorcana community is even those really good competitive players almost always, in my experience, are willing to teach in a really kind way newer, more casual players. And so having an opportunity to learn from someone, and you definitely know if you go to a local and that playmat rolls out in front of you, you know that this is somebody that I can learn from. And normally they're really gracious about it. So that's really great.
So in addition to that playmat, the top 8 players will all qualify for a championship in their respective region. If you top 8 a Disney Lorcana Challenge in North America, you'll actually earn an invite to the North American Championship. And again, in Europe, if you top 8, you'll earn a qualification for Disney Lorcana, the European Championship for Disney Lorcana Challenge.
Which will be...
we have a few prizes from here on that we're not quite ready to share in terms of images or announcements for, other than, Ryan mentioned, and we had that little like blurred, pixelated
that gold,
intentionally to hide it. But we're incredibly excited that we have a serialized Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor, kind of the mascot of the announcement of the game, and that's for the top 4. So those cards are serialized. You actually will know, like, I have the one version of this card. And again, we'll share all of that information on how, like, the serialization, how it all works, and how it'll look once we kind of reveal that Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor. But those are going to be some pretty valuable cards if you get top 4 in the Disney Lorcana Challenge.
That's amazing. I love the serialization, and what's fun about it to me is I love history and I love things with stories, and you will forever be able to tie specific numbers to specific players who earned that card. So even if later on the card becomes available,
right? That's true.
Where that card came from and who earned it, which is super cool to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, that card will have alternate artwork as well. It's not the same Brave Little Tailor that you've seen before. I think people are really going to be blown away by it. But yeah, the card's entirely gold design. Being able to capture it perfectly on this stream is why we're not showing it. We really need to like kind of give it its own space when we reveal it.
Fair enough.
Aside from Lorcana.
Sure.
So it's gonna come later. It'll be an announcement where we really show off how this looks in person. And so yeah, the images for that, all those the prizing for second and first place, that's going to be shared on DisneyLorcana.com very soon. But that said, of course, we've seen some people in the chat may have already seen on the website, but people want to know the dates of these events. And we're ready to share the first 2 challenge event dates for both North America and Europe. Now, Disney Lorcana Challenge,
Atlanta and Chicago.
They are ticketed,
Not
so you'll need to get a ticket for the
convenient
event. But the first 2 in North America, or the first one in North America,
that's really
is May 25th
soon.
and 26th in Atlanta, Georgia, and then June 8th and 9th in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, guys, I'm going to Georgia.
Disney Lorcana Challenge events in North America that are to be announced. And when I say to be announced, they're going to be announced within the next week or 2.
Okay.
We actually, right as this stream was starting, had someone rush to confirm that, we got all of them. Can you show it on the stream? We didn't have time to make changes here, but we will announce them on the website very soon. And then in Europe,
checking the calendar, right?
Weekend,
No.
May 25th and 26th in Lille, France. And then on July 6th and 7th in Bochum, Germany. And then there will be 2 more European events to be announced.
So you said there's 4 more. These are the first 2, though. So for people looking to book tickets and travel, and get into the action, those are the first 2 they can look to.
Yeah, and these events will be capped at 512 players. So that's the tickets. Right now, the tickets for these events are capped at 512. They're going to be going on sale fairly soon. Again, we'll announce that on the website. We'll make sure that we announce on social media. We're Disney Lorcana everywhere on social media. When these tickets are going on sale, give people enough time before they go live to prepare to get one of those tickets.
It's going to be so many tickets.
And, there also will be additional ways. I had mentioned that the top 8 qualify for the championship events. There's going to be more ways to qualify. So we can't quite share everything right now. We're still working out some of the information.
Yes.
Okay. But I do want to note regarding that we are planning a day zero last chance qualifier at both the North American and European Championships.
Nice.
So, I mean, if people
I don't know what that
understand
means.
what that means,
Katie knows.
Technically, you know, the tournament itself you have to qualify for, but everyone can go and sign up until we hit a cap. But this will be a very large cap. People can go and attend the championship and play in that day zero event to try and get into the main tournament. And even if you don't qualify to participate in the main tournament, if you're there and join on day zero, worst case scenario, play in side events. We're gonna have lots of them. You don't have to make the main tournament. There's gonna be more that you can do there. Now, for the World Championship when we get there, there's no day zero. It's only the top players that are participating in the World Championship event. But the World Championship itself is going to be held at a larger fan event. I know that we've mentioned fan events before. That's not something that we've really talked about. We're not quite ready to share the information on it here. We are going to share more information pretty soon, but
man,
not on this stream.
Bummer.
Fan events? Okay. We can accept that.
So I know that was a lot of information.
I do not accept.
You guys want to chat a little bit about if you have thoughts about it?
What are we doing in late May?
I know, booking plane tickets.
Apparently going to Georgia.
Heading to Atlanta. No, I'm glad the dates are out there. You know, people have been eagerly awaiting. You know, they want to buy their plane tickets. They want to plan their year. There's so many Lorcana events going on. Not only, you know, the events that you just announced, but there's other cons and things to go to, and D23. And so I'm really glad these dates will be available so people can plan out their year. The pricing is amazing, and yeah, I really hope everybody's able to get a ticket that wants to go play. And yeah, they're gonna be. I'm just excited. I'm excited for the announcement.
Yeah, I do see some people in the chat questioning the cap of 512. I do want to address that real quick before we talk more about it. If we do see that, you know, 512 caps really quickly, this is the starting cap for Disney Lorcana Challenge. So these events, you know, we will address it and we will change that if it's something that we need to do. We just want to see how it goes. We want to sell some tickets.
There's going to be 6 across North America, 6 events with 512 cap. I mean, that is not a lot.
We're not looking to keep people out or anything like that. But one more thing that is along those lines of not wanting to keep people out, that I very much want to talk about on this stream, when it comes to Disney Lorcana Challenge, is a new format that we've been working on for day one of those events. It's an alternate way to handle Swiss rounds. To help me talk about this, I'd like to introduce, joining from our German office, Tim Schilder from the game development team. Hi, Tim.
Yes.
Hello there. Thank you for having me.
So we're introducing a new Swiss format called 2-game round format, and for other TCGs, there's typically you play best of 1 or best of 3, and we didn't quite feel that was right for Disney Lorcana. We didn't quite feel that either one fit perfectly for Disney Lorcana, is what I should say. So, you know, I had called a meeting with like all these people that work on Disney Lorcana, on Team Lorcana, to kind of plead their case. There's people that preferred best of 1, and there's people that preferred best of 3, and you know, everyone's saying which one they prefer. Everyone gets their chance to speak, and when I went to Tim for his turn, he says, "I know I was supposed to answer 1 or 3, but what about 2?" And I sort of laughed it off, and I was like, okay, who's speaking next? But he proposed this format where you play 2 games in a round. So, Tim, can you explain how it works for everyone today?
Yeah, of course. So, of course, there is a number between 1 and 3. So, 2-game matches kind of make sense for Lorcana for the challenge events, because you are awarding, or you're getting awarded points for each win you achieve in the match. So if you win 1 game, you get 1 point. if you win 2 games, you get 2 points, but also you will get an additional point for winning 2-0. With this, we can really better in Swiss determine your strengths in the game. And rather than just splitting you in 2 groups with winners or losers after game 1, you will be paired against someone of the same strength, with being a 2-0, a 1-1, or a 0-2.
Yeah, so, I mean, one of the things that, and I know a lot of people are saying, what, best of 2? It's not best of 2, and we need to be specific about that. It is a 2-game round format.
I actually like that a lot.
I love it.
Love it.
Becky is like,
you know, there's been a lot of debate in the community about the die roll mattering so much.
Right.
Who gets to go first matters. In this way, actually both people get an opportunity to go first. So,
like once.
When you do the die roll, you're choosing which game you're going first rather than...
Oh, I hope our league starts doing it this way.
Rather than winning the die roll and just immediately going first, and then whoever wins, or whoever loses, I'm sorry, gets to choose the next one. This way, both people, it's more akin to sports or esports, where you have sides and you're swapping sides. If there's a side advantage, you can't. There's nothing that you can.
Yeah.
There's nothing that using the side advantage matters with. I will say that going first, you know, because people have different reasons for how they value that. There are things where now there's strategy to choosing which game you go first in based on your deck and how you like to play. And Tim, I mean, if you can talk about that even a little bit.
Yeah, so in our development and also in the testing, we experienced that many players are putting a different strategy into the match, and some prefer going first in the first game to to have no knowledge about the opponent's deck and also to surprise the opponent, while some players prefer to have already some knowledge there and then after winning the dice roll decide to go first in game 2. Also, it's of course worth to mention that there are certain tiebreakers, of course, in the 2-game format. So after looking at the points and the wins, of course, the strength of schedule means that if your opponent is winning 2-0 and having more points, your tiebreaker with strength of schedule that is relying on that is also getting better, which kind of encourages both players to finish the match in time and to always come to a result, since you can always win a point and not win the first game and then lose 2 games and get nothing out of it.
Yeah, and you know,
I'm loving this.
Something else,
Me too.
you know, there's a few things that this solves.
Someone in the chat said, Tim is out here saving lives. Tim is our hero.
The reaction that we get from people that have played other TCGs before they play it has been, why are you doing this? You already know what works. Best of 3 works for other TCGs, so just use best of 3. You have precedent for what works. We want to make sure that we're doing what works for Disney Lorcana. And something that we've been seeing when there are these third-party tournaments that have been happening over the last few months, there's a number of things that there's been feedback over that hasn't been feeling right for us. I mean, people have been reporting that you know, games are taking too long. If they're going against a control mirror, they're not finishing the round. One thing that we don't like is people playing the tournament rather than playing the game. In this scenario, every game matters. There's no way to, like, intentional draws have been something that's been happening at these third-party events. There's no way to do an intentional draw on this because you need to play out your games. The bonus points even kind of prevent that, because if you draw with your opponent and someone else goes 2-0, they could jump ahead of you, and it's not easy to predict how the standings are going to be. And, you know, part of this discussion, and when Tim was proposing this, it was, you know, when we get through Swiss, we're not looking to see how many rounds you won. We're looking to see how good the players are at the end of Swiss. We're looking for rankings for players. So, like, when we've done these test events, we've found that there's consistent ranking. I mean, Tim, even you could speak to that.
Yeah, so with the tiebreakers there, you get a really good ranking of your strength of schedule, and in case that this is not enough, and there could this precedence that even your strength of schedule is the same, we've added another tiebreaker, which is only used like in a very, very small amount of cases, but this is the person who won the last game is getting a slightly better tiebreaker. So this means if you won game 2 out of the series, your third tiebreaker essentially is a bit better, which always gives us a really clear ranking after Swiss and determines the best players, really.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's been so incredible about these test events that we've been doing. So there are people out there that actually experienced this already. They were under NDA, so of course they haven't talked about it. But there's a lot of Disney Lorcana fans that have been experiencing this. And the thing that we're hearing kind of, the competitive players, they come into it obviously being resistant because why don't we just do what's been working? And after they've played it, it's, oh, this is actually a really competitive format. If you're that competitive player, you need to crush your opponents. You need to not drop a game. And if you do drop a game and you've been crushing your opponents all day, it actually doesn't hurt that badly. At a test event that I was at, there was a player that was going 2-0 for several rounds, got 0-2'd in a round, and still ended the Day 1 Swiss at number 1 rank.
Oh, wow.
They dropped a whole round.
Oh, that's really
still were
interesting.
Number 1
yeah,
because of how consistently they were playing over the course of the whole day.
Really liking this. I feel like
similarly, casual players, the people that were going there because they love Lorcana, they want to participate in Lorcana events, but they weren't necessarily that hyper competitive player. Some of them were finding out that in this format, they actually had a chance. Maybe they weren't winning when it was best of 3, but now they're slowly gaining points, and they may like eke into that top cut. And even if they don't, they have something, a clear point system.
Yeah.
They know how they did at the end of
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Where there were people at test events being excited about, oh, I got 34th and you got 36, like I beat you. They knew why they did. They understood why the rankings happened the way they did, and most importantly, they felt like every game mattered. Something that we've been hearing a lot in feedback from the more casual players, where Disney Lorcana is their first trading card game, is that they felt like when I win a game in a best of 3, it doesn't matter. If I lose the first game, they're suddenly on tilt because, I'm not. There's no way I'm going to beat this person who just crushed me. There's no way I'm going to beat them twice. But what we were seeing was that those players who had given up when they're going into game 2 previously, they actually started fighting back. They knew that they still had a chance to get a point, and they were fighting back. They didn't just give up. So, yeah, I mean, the feedback that we were getting from competitive players, obviously, was that, oh, this works. And that's really what we were looking for from competitive players. But how much it did for the newcomers, the people who Disney Lorcana is their first TCG, it made them excited. It made them excited to play the game. And similarly, those competitive players who previously, when they were looking at how do I game the tournament, how do I play the tournament by not playing the game, they're suddenly thinking about how do I get better at playing the game, not how do I get better at playing the tournament, how do I do better at the
Smart.
game.
Yeah.
And
Tim deserves a raise.
Focus when we're starting out events,
For real.
playing the game.
Go Tim.
Go
Changing the game.
Changing the game.
Rounds. We don't want people to
Love
give up
it.
because
it's really encouraging to hear like how their testing has
round.
gone with it.
We want people to play through, and there's a reason to play through. And Ryan had mentioned, and I mentioned when we talked about Let It Go, that's roughly the top 64 players, at least the top 64 players. But there will be announcements about points that you can earn additional prizing. So even if you're not someone who is that top player, you have goals to get to. You may be not fighting for getting into top cut. You're fighting for, I just want to get that Let It Go. So that's really what we were looking at with this. We will have implementation of the tournament software that's coming soon.
Oh.
We're working on it so that people can test it for themselves if they want to at their local events.
Nice.
But something that I do want to have everyone keep in mind is that this is something that we're rolling out for Disney Lorcana Challenge. So this is not something that suddenly, we have the set championships coming up and your local play and all that sort of thing.
True.
If your store does not want to adopt this, we are not forcing this on anyone outside of Disney Lorcana Challenge. At challenge events, we will be using this format. But I do think there are going to be people that want to try it for themselves. We're not suddenly shifting the entire game to this. It's literally day one Swiss at Disney Lorcana Challenge. Once we get the top cut, it goes to best of 3. In each of those rounds, we have to
interesting.
So best of 3 is required. But before we get there, this is a format that felt more approachable. It removed some of those issues of people debating about the die roll mattering. A lot of debates in the community about casual versus competitive, and this is kind of trying to marry those together. So yeah, I don't know, Tim, if you have any other thoughts about it that you haven't shared, but if not, yeah. You can go.
It's all good. You pretty much summarized everything that we discussed and that we've discovered in testing. Just one last thing to all the competitive players that might think best of 3 is better. I mean, I used to be one of those as well and just said I don't like this as well. But after you've played this format, it will make much more sense because you're playing far easier and far earlier against the players of your own strengths in those events. And you can show the skill there. So winning 2-0 is still the same as winning 2-0 in a best of 3. And yeah, it totally makes sense for challenge events also because it gives you more round time. And with that being said, I hope to see many of you in Bochum for the challenge event in Germany.
Yep.
Cool.
So yeah, thanks for joining, Tim. And again, we'll talk about this more. We know that this is a big new thing. I'm sure lots of people have questions about or want to discuss. We have the Discord community at discord.gg/Disney Lorcana. If you're not on it, jump on. We're going to talk about it more in the future before we get to those challenge events. So be prepared for that. But yeah, thank you, Tim, for joining to kind of explain it.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Hey.
But yeah, one more thing is that I just want to say, with these events, we appreciate how patient the community's been with competitive play and organized play and all that. And we hope that you're excited to participate more in competitive play and everything organized play. The team is really close to finalizing and posting the complete rules. It is something that will be up this week.
There we go.
We are working on a judge test that is going to have a soft rollout for the staff at Disney Lorcana Challenge before expanding into the more publicly available judge program. So we'll be sharing all of those details and resources on DisneyLorcana.com. And we're working on a page for all organized play updates and news, including Disney Lorcana Challenge. We just need to ask for a bit more patience as we work to get all of that live. But that's going to be your go-to place for all of the details about rules and in-store organized play and Disney Lorcana Challenge events and everything. So yeah, what do you guys think? It was a lot.
Yeah, I know Aaron's itching to talk about this. I just have to start with, Aaron and I come at this from 2 different angles. I started playing Magic back when the Junior Super Series was a thing. It was a competition for under 16-year-olds, and so I got my first taste of competitive TCGs way back then, and I love a good competitive event. I love casual play, but I love a good competitive event. And I've been mulling over this 2-game, Swiss format, and the more I've thought about it, the more I'm excited by it. First off, I am excited to try something new. I'm excited to go in and try a new tournament format where I'm collecting points as opposed to the traditional best of 3 system. I love that it's a little bit less of a grind. 2 games on the round, you don't have to worry about the 3-game mental strain.
Oh, it's a grind if you're looking to crush people.
That's fair, which I'm sure a lot of people out there are. I love a good crushing. But I also love this idea of going in and your goal is collecting points. Going in, there's going to be this many rounds, there's going to be this many games, there's this many points available. Let's see how many points I can collect. I also really like the idea. since Lorcana has been out, Aaron and I have had the privilege of going to a number of competitive events. We've commentated some, and when you're commentating, you like to get out and you like to talk to players and figure out why they're there and what they're trying to do. And some of the most inspirational players to talk to are those that are at their very first event. And they're saying, hey, I'm here, I know I'm not going to win, or I don't think I'm going to win. But my goal is to see how good I am and to challenge myself. And for those players, I love this approachable idea of being able to see where they rank, see how many points they can collect, how many games they can pick up. And then the next time they go to an event, they want to push themselves and get a few more. Maybe you went to a 5-round tournament and you came away with 6 points. Next time you're like, you know what? I'm going to go to this 5-round tournament. If I get 8 points, I know I'm getting better. And I love that approachability aspect. I'm just a fan. I can't wait to try it. And I don't know. Aaron and I may do some starter deck games with this format and see how it goes. I don't know, Aaron.
No, I appreciate kind of how y'all thought about this announcement and continuing to stay, with the Disney Lorcana brand, even while you're thinking about how players play this game competitively, and the opportunity to continue to grow the community and make it approachable for players at all levels. I know, for myself, we've talked on this stream about just that I am more of a casual player. Playing in a competitive setting, to me, quite frankly, is quite intimidating. I'll, join Liam and commentate on a tournament all day long, but me sitting down at a table is a really intimidating thing for me. And the idea of like not winning a best of 3 and walking away from that. You and I had an opportunity to talk about this briefly with an experience with a player at your LGS where they were playing against you and felt like they were not, quote unquote, winning.
Yeah.
And it's because they were winning games, but they weren't winning best of 3s. And I absolutely can empathize with that feeling as well. I might, in our own local community, where you might win a game, as an example, Liam and I went to a relatively casual but still kind of a tournament in our community, and as we were driving home, he asked me, he said, well, how did you do? And I was like, oh, I lost 3 rounds. And he goes, that I can't believe that. Like, you knew your deck, you were playing really well at home. And I said, yeah, well, I won like two or 3 games. And he's like, okay, well, you won.
Yeah.
But as a newer player to TCGs, like, you walk away from these best of 3 sometimes feeling like you haven't won anything. And so
that's me.
The idea that we're moving to this point.
It's a lot of people.
I can easily change my thought process to say, well, but I got 4 points. Right. Or, whatever that is. And then the next time we go, maybe I get 6 points. And now I'm being able to see myself grow as a player and compete against myself. And so I really appreciate that from kind of a newer TCG player, a more casual player standpoint. And I also think that this is going to work from the tournaments we've been able to commentate on. I think that this is going to work in Swiss rounds. Like, it's crazy how many games go to time, especially with these control decks, as you were mentioning. And so I think that this will really help speed up pace of play, allow tournaments to run more on schedule, which is like my favorite thing ever, is to run on time with a tournament. And so, I think I'm really excited for this format. I can't wait to try it out myself.
One final thought. I think, as a community, I know we have people experience, games and people experience Lorcana in different ways. Everybody has their own way of playing and everybody has their own approach, whether it's, more casual or competitive. Some people love tournaments, some don't. But I think that as a community, as a Lorcana community or as a gaming community, we all benefit when we give people ways to access various parts of the game. And so the more that we encourage or we provide an avenue for people who are new to the game to feel like tournaments are accessible for them, I think that's better. We get bigger player pools, players have a variety of experiences, players who may not, they may be some of the best players, but they just don't want to deal with a tournament. If we give them an easier access point, it's just better for everybody. We want to give everybody the ability to access Lorcana in all the different ways that they want to play it. whether it's casual, competitive, cooperative, or head-to-head.
I also say this is so great as we see even like kids breaking into the competitive scene right now.
Yeah.
We just had an opportunity to commentate on a tournament in Texas where there was a 9-year-old competing in this tournament with people who've been playing TCG since the 90s, and her having an opportunity to, even though I don't think she won very many of her rounds, but like have that point system and experience that win and experience that validation as a player. That is what is going to get her to buy in and continue to try and continue to grow and become a better player, and that's how that becomes a lifelong passion of hers. And so I think that, anyway, love the format.
I mean, something that we talk about, and that's great to bring up, something that we talk about is wanting to make sure that competitive play also is aspirational. So there are people that are the best of the best, and we're making sure that when we are working on this format, finding the best of the best is the number one priority. But the other thing that this is solving is it's giving people more of that aspiration. This is something that will make those players like a kid that wants to join an event have something to work towards. They're not expected to win an event necessarily unless they're amazingly good, but knowing like, oh well, I need this many points, so I'm going to keep trying to get more points to try and get better and get to that point where I'm winning events. That's kind of one of the things that this is doing. I do know a lot of people in the chat have asked about, on that topic, what are we doing for kids with Disney Lorcana Challenge? There are things in the works. For how to help with having kids experience with Disney Lorcana Challenge. Again, we're not ready to share that here, but it is something that will be part of those announcements when we get that started. So yeah, we're gonna move on from Disney Lorcana Challenge. Spend a lot of time talking about it right now, but the last thing regarding new information, sort of new information, is Disney Lorcana Gateway. We have the box here. I know that people have seen the box either at events or social media. I don't know if you want to see it.
Hold it?
Yeah, I mean, it seems maybe weird to bring that up. Why are we showing the box that has already been seen? Well, Liam, put that down right here.
Okay.
Let's show the back of the box.
Oh, that's new.
Oh, there's set 4 cards.
For those of you wanting more card reveals.
So we have a few more card reveals that are from the back of the Disney Lorcana Gateway box.
Enhance.
Are you going to make people zoom in?
No. We'll show the cards.
We'll show the cards, yeah.
I'm super excited for this product, by the way.
Yeah.
Rapunzel. We've talked a lot about Rapunzel today. There's still one
more Rapunzel.
Okay,
never too much.
Never too much Rapunzel.
Never.
Oh my.
Oh, she's so cute.
Sapphire, 5-cost inkable.
3 lore.
3
I love
5
her.
willpower, 3 lore, with the ability
Oh,
Perceptive Partner. While you have a character named Pascal in play, this character gains ward.
Aww.
Nice.
So,
I need another
typically
Pascal.
that Pascal has been used to avoid interacting with characters while they quest and gain lore.
Pascal, yeah, there's just one Pascal.
Where,
Amethyst.
Yeah. If Pascal and Rapunzel are working together.
She's so cute.
I love
I love her.
I love flavor almost as much as I love good mechanics. But what a flavor when, what a fun little utility, little bit of utility for Pascal. Gosh, anything with 3 lore is just great. And the other thing I love when we see synergies in color combos, which we don't often see. So now we're seeing Pascal in Amethyst, and we see Rapunzel in Sapphire. This is working across that color combo, and I hope that we can see more synergies that we can build decks around, between these 2 colors.
There's a hidden in the card.
Aubrey,
I was going to say, can I ask an art question? Is there
Oh yeah.
Aubrey Archer with the Rapunzels. She is really good at Rapunzels.
She is, and that's why we ask her to do a lot of Rapunzel. She's an amazing artist, and she actually is one of our art directors right now as well. So
Nice.
you'll see a lot of really great Rapunzel cards from Aubrey, and she always knocks it out of the park with Rapunzel.
She just like is so. I feel like she's now. This is the third Rapunzel we've seen her do. Maybe.
Well, a different art style too. So we've
Right.
seen multiple versions.
Yeah, that's true. So
Yeah.
I mean, she's just so like a part of this character now, and I love that she's continuing to put these Rapunzels out. Beautiful as always.
So next we have Goofy.
Oh.
Oh.
4-cost inkable Ruby storyborn character.
Yes.
2 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore with rush, and an ability super peanut powers. When this character challenges another character, gain 2 lore.
Oh my gosh.
This is fun. I love it. So this is a new use of Rush, right? We're used to seeing Rush with a high strength character that's used for some board control. This is kind of new.
You also see
where,
Rush
yes,
that
you can use
always
it to remove something from
uninkable.
strength,
This
but
is
you're also
inkable.
using it more for
True.
that lore
And
effect.
2 lore.
So with his high willpower, or higher willpower, in theory, you perhaps can use him, to immediately gain some lore, and he'll stick around for another turn to allow you to get a little bit more out of him. So potentially, you use him right for lore out of this character.
Peanut?
And another way to gain lore
Peanuts. He has super peanut power.
without having to put a
Goofy
character on
and
the board
peanuts.
and
Is that a
wait a whole
thing?
turn to quest.
Oh.
Another way for Ruby to
Yeah.
fun.
And then
Oh.
next we have Hans.
I'm not super brushed up on my Goofy lore.
Peanuts, yeah.
Same.
Wow. I don't know if there's any.
Hans, Noble Scoundrel.
Noble
He is a 3-cost inkable Sapphire storyborn character with 3 strength, 2 willpower, 2 lore, and an ability, Royal Schemes. When you play this character, if a princess or queen character is in play, gain 1 lore. Very on
Alright,
brand.
trying to make Moana work again. It's official.
I mean, there's a portrait of her on the wall.
So this what a
Royal
what a villainous-
Schemes.
Royal Schemes. I have to say I have seen Frozen. I underestimated how hated of a villain Hans is until this week when I saw people.
We hate him.
He's literally the
More
worst.
Hans, more cards for people to hate. What again from a flavor
Hans
perspective?
of the Southern
the
Isles.
ability. Gosh, we have a lot of princesses in the game. We have a lot of queens in the game. He's a prince himself, so a lot of synergy there. Interesting.
I want to point something out in the art.
Yeah.
I love
You
the
are
storytelling in this one.
art.
Somebody said that Goofy eats peanuts and becomes super goof.
And
Oh, that makes
is
sense.
so cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
He's definitely scheming.
I
Yeah.
love it so much. Yeah.
Scheming.
So, the flavor text is a little too small for me to read, unfortunately, from here. I don't know if anyone else can see it, but basically, there is more story. One thing to keep in mind, Ursula's return as a set narratively takes place before the Illuminator's quest. So there's still story going on that leads into the Illuminator's quest. Hans is sort of playing into what's going on.
Hans was confident he could bring Anna to Ursula. All he needed was something of Kristoff to lure her in.
So he's like Kristoff's.
So let's show. Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
No,
Something.
he's
Right?
thinking Kristoff's room because it says he needs
Got his
something
little
of
hat.
Kristoff
To lure Anna in for Ursula.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Michelle.
So let's go to Daisy Duck.
Daisy! Yay! I love a Daisy.
Daisy Duck, lovely lady.
Oh, look at
Look at her.
1-cost inkable Amber Dreamborn character with 1 strength and 3 willpower and 1 lore. No game text, but some really great flavor text there from the narrative team.
Just cute. I love the hair.
I don't have my glasses, but I'm.
I love Amber. She's like to be my Amber.
It's great. I mean, we see these 1/3 stat lines are often useful on turn 1. Amber's getting one here, so I love it. And what a beautiful one. Fantastic art.
And then next up is Anna, who we were just talking about.
Anna.
Ooh.
A little bit more of that
Cool.
story that was going on with Hans. There's a few more cards to piece that story together, but Anna Braving the Storm is a 2-cost inkable Sapphire character, Dreamborn, with 1 strength, 4 willpower, and 1 lore. With the ability I Was Born Ready, if you have another hero character in play, this character gets +1 lore.
Cool.
There is a big hero theme in this set.
Yeah,
Obviously,
seems like it.
We need heroes to combat Ursula, so Anna is one of those characters that really strong in the hero theme, but it seems that maybe Ursula and Hans kind of know that Anna is one of those strong hero characters and are trying to do something about it.
Something I feel like we've seen several times today is this gaining lore based on conditions of the board. I feel like we saw this, like these 2 characters here. We've seen it a little bit in the madrigals, so very interesting. I also love. I feel like maybe it's just the cards we're seeing today, and it'll be once we see more and more cards in set 4. But Ravensburg, your creative team is doing a lot more original flavor text, and playing out the story like that makes a lot of sense. But I'm loving again starting to see this story kind of roll out, and having a lot more of these flavor texts that kind of like nod to other cards maybe that we're going to see in the set, and how all of this kind of works together.
And then there is one last card on the Gateway box, on the back of the Gateway box, that people have been wanting to finally see. It has been passed around in the story a few times. Triton's Trident.
Oh, the Trident! Okay, here we go.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh.
Triton's Trident is a 2-cost inkable item in Amethyst that has the ability symbol
for each card in your hand.
Banish this item. Chosen character gets +1 strength this turn for each card in your hand. Amethyst loves card draw, and now this gives it a pretty nice piece of removal. If you're playing into that theme of card draw,
I thought it was
a ton of cards.
It's going to be more exciting.
I love that the flavor text and Ursula quote.
Beautiful.
It is really pretty.
It really is. I mean,
it's very cool looking.
Story. I mean, the Trident has been teased as super important since the very beginning. We see Martin reaching for it in one of the trailers, trying to grab it out of all the lore pieces that are being swept out of the Illuminary. The Trident is mentioned over and over again, and so here's the payoff. The ability's fun. You know, it'll work in an item synergy deck as well. You know, item decks love items, but from a narrative perspective, I love that you're kind of telling the story that this Trident is being used for one big moment. Like Ursula's gathering her power, she's gathering, you know, things together. She has all these resources, and then there's one big moment where she's making use of this Trident to do something, perhaps.
I like that explanation.
That is kind of cool. Yeah. Thanks, Liam.
Yeah.
Really is uncommon.
Very story-driven card. Yeah.
Look at the flavor text. Just imagine all this power in the wrong hands from Ursula herself. You know, you called back to the trailer of this moment of the Trident. The Trident's not done here. This is the first time the Trident's appearing as a card, but it's not the only time that the Trident is part of the story. So, more to look forward to.
Nice.
But yeah, that's everything that we have for reveals and new information. We are going to stick around and hang out more after this, but we're going to take a break, kind of get resituated, let us all sit with everything we've talked about. We have a bunch of Into the Inklands here, just for us to open up, hang out, and Matt has been very patient.
Talk about art.
But yeah, we'll be back. But thank you everyone, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Hey!
So, what do we think, guys?
What do we think? Okay. What do we think?
A lot of things.
Oops.
That was so much better than I was expecting, to be honest.
Right? I loved it. I felt we got a ton of information. We saw so many cards. new products. We got some information on OP and the challenge. So I'm pumped. That was great.
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm like
set 4
moving
looks
around.
so good. I'm so excited for it.
I love set 4 so far, and the little peek that we've gotten, and the theming of it, and how it completes the story and stuff. Like, I think it's really awesome. So it's Ursula's Return, and it comes out in May. I want to say it's like the 17th, yeah, middle of May is for LGS, yeah, and then 2 weeks later for.
Well, what's surprising is the first championship event is May 25th, so that's a week after the set comes out. That's like really tight to get cards. You know,
that is really tight. Yes. Also, pause really quick for people who are watching on Instagram. As you know, Katie and Becky are here from Live Laugh Lorcana, and then Lorcana Girl Victoria is also here. I invited her to join, and she was able to pop in today. So that's the other person that you're seeing. And I love all the chat that's been going on, reactions to all the news. On Instagram, a lot of people have had some cool things to say. But yes, okay, so the dates for the championship are when? The 25th?
The 25th, and then June 8th and 9th are for,
at least
for North America.
For those 2 dates.
That's right, the first one. Okay. And then there's going to be 6 total in North America, and then 4 total in Europe. And those will all lead to the nationals, which will then lead to the worlds. I was hoping we'd get more dates and info on those events. So, but at least we know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Victoria, are any of those locations convenient for you?
Yeah, I'm in North Florida, so Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta, Georgia is right there. Yeah.
Nice. So Atlanta is not that far. We were actually going to go to that 8K tournament, the Charlie's Collectibles Show tournament that was last weekend.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just not competitive enough. Like I can't. I love Lorcana, but I don't spend like money on the big cards. So if I don't pull big, I have big teams. If I don't pull Sad Beast, I don't have Sad Beast. So I play more competitively, and this is kind of making me feel like I need to order some cards.
Get more cards. Well, and I love that, like, because that's how I feel too. Like, I'm not like super competitive, but then hearing them talk about the new 2-game matches and the point system and all of that does make me feel like way more encouraged to go participate in these events. Like, it doesn't make it seem so out of reach. Like Rochelle said, she used the word aspirational. I think that is definitely what they've done with this change. And tell me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like what she said was it's going to be the first day that it will be this 2-game matches. But then after that, they are going to switch to best of 3 for the rest, right? Is what she said after the top cut.
After top cut, yeah.
Yes.
Because that's only one person can go on, so they have to have a winner.
Yeah, right. Which I think that makes sense. It kind of like marries the two, because like there's a place, I think, for best of 3, but it's just hearing their explanation of it, I think, is really, really great. And it's going to open up the competitive scene to people who are newer and don't feel like competitive players,
No, I'm definitely not a competitive player. This is my first trading card game, and I play at my LGS up against very competitive people. And it's very intimidating, and like they make their moves so fast. Like one guy I play against, like so worn. I'm like, this game hasn't even been out for a whole year. How are your sleeves so worn? Like, so yeah, I definitely want to be more competitive, but I feel like this set isn't really leaning towards people who are in it for competitive. I definitely feel like it's more lore driven, it's more story driven, it's more art driven. It's not really like all the cards we saw were great, but I feel like besides that Mulan, people were kind of like, meh, you know what I mean?
That Mulan card.
But me, we're all like freaking out the whole time because we're getting more lore, we're getting background, we're getting story, and so I feel like it's kind of blending the two together. That the really competitive people see why the really not competitive people are in it, and we're in it for this story and the artists. So I really enjoyed this release today. That was really nice.
Okay, Katie, you are a more competitive player, and you kept on going like, oh, when she would say, and I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about. So fill us in and share your thoughts from that more competitive side.
Sure. Like, I'm so excited about the 2-game format because there's this whole like first player advantage we keep talking about. Like, some people say first player wins 60% of the time. And my husband and I are always kind of like talking about it. It's like, you know what the solution is? 2-game format. Play 2 games. One person goes first each. And we're like, that's never going to happen because no other game does it. So it's never going to happen. And they're doing it. Like, I literally can't believe it.
I mean, Tim is our hero. Like, yeah, and I think that it sounds like it gives competitive players that competitive side of things that they need. Like, it doesn't lose any of the competitiveness. It just kind of opens it up more. Is that the right way to say it? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then the other was Day 0 qualifier. Did you guys understand what that is?
No.
Yeah, basically, so if you're not qualified for the North American Championship or the European Championship, you can still go. And like the day before the event, there's going to be a qualifying event.
That's for people who don't have an LGS that are doing it, they can still go and have a chance at competing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like even if you tried a bunch of times and failed, you can still go the day before the event and try the last chance qualification.
So like someone goes, I went to all 6 regional events and I never qualified. You could still show up on the day before, day 0 of the nationals or whatever, and try to make it with that qualifying event. Okay. That makes sense.
Exciting.
Yes. And the cards that they're giving away for participation and all the top whatever with the art, those are so
stunning. Gorgeous. I love that. And I also love that when they talked about like bringing new art back or bringing old art back to stuff, very excited about that, because we're always like, oh, those are the 2 that were chosen for these things. Now we have the whole library back again. I love that.
Yeah, very cool.
Which one's your favorite of like the accessories or the cards or anything of old things that we're seeing new art for?
I love that. I'm also a huge Rapunzel stan. We saw so much good Rapunzel today, like that gorgeous card. And also I love the playmat that they're redoing with her on it. Gorgeous.
So pretty. I will probably never own one.
I know. That makes me sad.
That's okay. There's plenty of other stuff. I do like the giant Tink playmat though that they're making.
Oh yeah, so there's 2 Rapunzel playmats then, because there's the one for top 8 and then also
the Rapunzel Sunshine.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
So I could get that one. I feel like that won't be as popular as the giant fairy Tinkerbell one. So I feel like I'm a shoe-in to be able to obtain one of those.
There you go.
Probably.
Well, I think that we're going to wrap up our Instagram Live. I know that they are still going to be talking on their Twitch, and they actually, I don't know if they're back already live. So if anyone wants to, they still have a couple minutes or a minute. So if anyone wants to tune in to Liam and Aaron talking with the team Lorcana there, it sounds like they're going to be talking about more stuff and art and whatever, and that's going to be awesome. But we're going to close out here. Any final thoughts from anybody?
Go Tim.
Go Tim.
So excited, but I know you have to get to work.
No, it's okay. I know I do. That's one of the reasons that we have to wrap up. So I took the morning off, but I have a meeting that I have to get to. But I'm sure we will all be talking online about all the exciting announcements. Also, I really want to go find that trailer and watch it again because it was so many things cool. And I feel like I missed some things. So I want to go back and watch that. And thank you guys for joining me. It was awesome to have you guys on. Yes. Yeah. And then this Instagram Live will hopefully live here on my profile. So if anyone wants to go back, if you missed any part and you want to rewatch again to check it out, you can. and give these ladies a follow because they're awesome. So thanks everybody for joining and have a good rest of your day.
Bye. Thank you.